SEO has died at least 10 times in the last 2 years. At least that's what everyone on Twitter and LinkedIn tell me. It's obviously not true. Otherwise, I would not have a business, right? But part of SEO, in fact, is dead, and that is traditional blogging. 6 months ago, I made a pretty big move to remove all top of funnel blog content from all future SEO strategies for the Shopify brands that we work with. And 6 months later after the decision, it paid off in a huge way, making our brands more money than they ever have and getting us even more visibility in LLMs, which is obviously a super hot topic right now. So today I'm going to break down kind of what that bold prediction was, how it paid off, why it's working. So let's get into it. So when e-commerce brands think about SEO, almost guaranteed the very first thing that comes to mind is blog content. Yeah, we've tried writing blogs, but it didn't really work. Our old SEO agency or freelance or whoever, they wrote hundreds of blogs, never really seemed to move the needle for us. Guaranteed most brands above 6 months old have tried writing blogs at some point or another, thinking that it's going to benefit their SEO. Now, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, absolutely. Blog content was a very critical part of any good SEO strategy for that matter, right? The whole concept of, building out topical authority, building out supporting content, and then, pointing internal links to your product pages, your collection pages, and then ranking higher, right? It doesn't work as well anymore. Simple as that. And the way that topical authority functions is a lot differently. And I'm going to break that down too. But the point is, if you're an e-commerce brand that has tried writing blog content and it didn't work for you, you have probably come to the same conclusion, is that it didn't really make you any money. And you're right. Most blogs simply don't make you any money. Like I said, I used to do it for topical authority, but it simply just takes way too long to come to fruition. So as I said, 6 months ago, all new brands coming on, I made the decision to drop all top of funnel blogs from new strategies. Okay. That means if they had top funnel blog content on the site already, sure, we would optimize it because good, well-trafficked blog content gets you leverage for internal links, but we weren't going to create any new blog content. And I want to break down why. Okay. The biggest reason was that AI overviews were taking way too many of our top of funnel clicks. Okay. We are strictly focusing on middle of funnel and top of funnel blogs now, plus as many collection pages as we can possibly create, which I've obviously talked about extensively. Okay. Now, there are three main benefits of this approach. Okay. Middle of funnel and bottom of funnel blogs, comparatively to top of funnel blogs, drive way more revenue because they're actually targeting visitors who are far closer to a purchasing decision. Someone searching for something like best teas to curb sugar cravings is way closer to actually pulling out their credit card and buying something from a website comparatively to someone searching for what is green tea. Okay. Moving off of that, using those same exact keyword examples, AI overviews are far less prevalent in the first keyword I mentioned compared to the second keyword. So basically, AI overviews are less prevalent in middle of funnel and bottom of funnel SERPs comparatively to top of funnel SERPs. I've been looking at probably 5 or 10 of the brands I work with right now in their search console and looking at year-over-year blog data. Their average ranking actually hasn't changed whatsoever in the last year, which is great. They're still ranking very highly. What's not so great is that the blog traffic to those same pages is down about 30 to 40% year over year. The consistency among those drops in traffic, but no change in position, is that impressions are actually rising, which suggests that more people are still searching for these things, but we're losing clicks because AI overviews exist in these SERPs now. If I search for what is green tea and I've never heard of it, I don't need to read a full article about what the hell green tea is, right? I can just read the 3 or 4 cents AI overview that was provided to me in Google, and I can move on with my day. So we're losing clicks because AI overview is actually doing a fairly decent, leaves a lot to be desired, but it's doing a fairly decent of answering pretty basic queries, right? It does a lot of, unit conversion, calculations, very basic question and answer stuff. AI overviews can handle. Users don't want to read a 1,500 word article about these things anymore. So AI overviews actually function really well in that capacity. But again, if they're taking 30 to 40% of your clicks, or my clicks for that matter, I don't want to go target something that I'm going to get, the volume is going to actually be nerfed on. So we stopped doing that. Third, and arguably one benefit I did not see coming, but I'm super stoked about it, is that it turns out that LLMs actually cite middle of funnel and bottom of funnel articles way more than they cite top of funnel content. So this study came out from XFunnel a little over a week ago, about a week and a half ago now. It's basically like, what should the content strategy be for LLM optimization? Okay, they studied 750,000 citations, and here's what they found. Okay, now LLM optimization has been a super hot topic. I'm having a lot of clients ask me about it, a lot of prospects ask me about it. What are we doing to rank higher in LLMs, get more visibility in LLMs? And the answer I've been telling them, and what I'm going to continue to tell them, is that Google is still the predominant market share winner here, right? They own it's nearly 90% of the entire search market share. It's definitely above 80. I'm sure it's been updated in the last few weeks or months. I understand ChatGPT has hundreds of millions of users. I get it. Okay. However, what I tell them is that people are still shopping and buying on Google. Okay. Brands would not be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month on Google Ads if people weren't searching on Google. Okay, so that's my response. Now, getting into LM optimizations, as I said, we're doing only middle of funnel and bottom of funnel blog content now. So these things like solution alternatives, competitor alternatives, product A versus product B, competitor A versus competitor B. Obviously, that's you versus a competitor, things of that nature, right? These are articles that specifically target people who are ready and interested in purchasing. Okay. Now, part of the study is what content do LLMs use the most? And the very first main section of this speaks to the fact that LLMs actually cite middle of funnel and bottom funnel blog content far more than they cite anything top of funnel. Okay. Over each of the 12 weeks, product related content, including best of articles, vendor comparisons, head-to-head comparisons, and product pages directly from vendors dominated AI citations. Okay, so I talk about collection pages. Let's just work backwards here. Product pages directly from vendors. So product pages and collection pages on e-commerce sites get cited a lot. Best of vendor comparisons. That is like best teas to cook or to curb sugar cravings, which I mentioned earlier. Vendor comparisons. That's like tea company A versus tea company B, assuming you're obviously one of those tea companies. As well as like two other competitors you could also compare, right? These are ranging from roughly 46% to 70% of all cited sources. So roughly half to almost 3/4 of all cited sources are these kinds of content. Now, again, I got lucky. Not lucky. I made a bold prediction that AI overviews were going to keep taking away clicks, and I didn't want to be a part of that. So I just said, all right, let's cut our losses. Let's focus on where we can actually make money right now, and where an AI overview cannot actually impact kind of our click performance and obviously revenue performance as a result. Now, what I did not predict is that by doing so, we would essentially be focusing all of our core efforts on the pages that are actually getting cited the most, right? If you were like researching what to buy in ChatGPT, for example, or Perplexity or whatever, right? And you're searching, even if you're like you're thinking about buying and you want to buy something, you're like doing research in there, okay? Let's go back to the tea example. You're looking for some kind of tea for some specific reason, okay? Maybe you want caffeinated, maybe you don't, maybe you have trouble sleeping, trouble with inflammation, whatever, right? There's tons of teas that satisfy all of those use cases. You are far more interested in the best teas for your use case comparatively to what the hell tea is, or what even herbal tea is, or whatever green tea is, right? Now, ChatGPT knows that, and so it is providing you information from articles that are meeting your current intent, which is to find out which products you should purchase. So it is citing middle of funnel and bottom of funnel blog content because that is the kind of information people are seeking out of it. Okay. So yes, I scrapped blog content, top funnel blog content a month ago or 6 months ago. That took away, guaranteed, probably took away like over 75% of the potential queries or keywords brands that we could target for brands. That made it sometimes very difficult to build out strategies and content strategies over a 6 to 12 month timeline. However, we simply exhausted everything in the middle and bottom of funnel. So we looked at all their competitors. We created a you versus them article. We did a them versus another competitor article and kind of slotted our brand in as a third option. We did solution alternative articles, so like coffee versus tea as an example here. herbal tea versus green tea, that kind of stuff, right? And all these articles are middle to bottom of funnel. And so we're driving way more clicks through them. And ironically, we're actually getting more citations in LLMs, which a lot of people have been asking about. So happy to hear it's kind of paid off in a third unexpected way. Now, this has actually led to us writing fewer blogs, but these blogs are substantially higher in quality, and they're ranking much higher, and of course driving more revenue for our brands because they are transactional focused as opposed to informational focused, right? Now, as for topical authority, it still works. It's just a really long time, right? As an agency, I have to deliver results for brands quickly, or else they will spend their money elsewhere or not spend it at all, right? I don't have the luxury of a year to build out topical authority and do all these things, right? I have to get results very quickly, which means driving revenue very quickly. So the middle funnel, top funnel shift was really aimed primarily at getting faster results and again, consistently breaking that, SEO takes 6 to 12 months stigma, right? We basically just constrain, as an agency, a freelancer, in-house, whatever, you have a finite amount of resources, okay? Whether it's, link building budget, whether it's, bandwidth of content writers, technical developer, whatever. You have a finite amount of resources in a set timeline, okay? So basically, why we've been so effective at the bottom of funnel now is because we've just constrained the same amount of resources we already had, split across 3 stages of the funnel, top, middle, and bottom, and we've just constrained them to the bottom 2, which is middle and bottom, right? So instead of allocating, 33%, let's say, assuming equal distribution of resources across all 3 stages, both funnel steps remaining now are each just getting 50, which is obviously a very substantial increase. And again, I'm way more interested in the bottom than I am even the middle. So you could argue that percentage is probably more like 60-40 or 70-30, obviously, leaning towards the bottom of funnel. So this blog content strategy paired with our collection page stuff, our internal linking, and our backlink building, which I talk about extensively in my other videos, has enabled us to consistently put Shopify brands at the top of page 1 and add tens of thousands of dollars in organic revenue every single month. So if you are a 7 or 8 figure Shopify brand that is sick of writing blogs, you're sick of your agency writing blogs even, and you want to scale your organic revenue on autopilot, book a call with me below. Links in the description. Peace.